Hello and welcome. Recently one of you had asked about making the gourd a bigger size. So in order to do that, we don't need a different pattern. All we need is thicker yarn and a bigger hook. So this one's only about 6 inches, and the person who asked was asking about making it about 8 inches tall. So we're going to go ahead and do that together. I will tell you what you need, and then we'll go through the pattern one more time so you can see that it is the exact same pattern, just using some different stuff. You can see I put a little too much stuffing in this one, so you can kind of see it poking out, but otherwise it's exactly the same. It's just this one is bulky yarn, and I used a 6.5 millimeter hook. This one is worsted weight yarn with a 4 millimeter hook. So we're going to grab some super bulky yarn, and I'm going to use a 10 millimeter hook. If you have a 9 millimeter hook, that might be slightly better, just to keep your stitches a little closer together, but this is all I have for that kind of size range. So I'm going to go ahead and, starting with my green yarn, that's going to be my bottom color, we're going to start with a magic circle and we'll get going. Okay, making our magic circle, just crossing our long end over our short end. Hook goes through the front. We're going to wrap it around our hook to pull up a loop, and then we'll do that one more time. And we're ready to start our first round. We're going to do 1 single crochet into the circle, and then we're going to make 5 more, so 6 total. I don't know why I said it like that. So we're going in, wrap, pull up, wrap, pull through both of those, and we're going to keep going until we have 6, and then I'll show you what to do. Okay, we have our 6 single crochets worked into our magic circle, so now we're going to take that short tail and we'll pull on the tail. That's going to close up that circle, and then we are going to slip stitch into our very first stitch of that round. So we're going in, we're going to wrap, we're going to pull that yarn through that first stitch there, and then through that last stitch just to join it. And now we'll chain 1, and for our next round we're going to work 2 single crochets into each stitch. So we're going into that very first stitch, we're going to wrap our yarn, pull up, wrap, pull through both of those, and we're going to do that one more time working into that same spot. So we're going to right back in there. We're going to repeat that all the way to the end of the round. So we're working 2 single crochets, 1 in each stitch. When you get to the end, you should have 12. We'll slip stitch to join, we'll chain 1, and then we're ready for round 3. Round 2 is done. We're working on round 3. For round 3's patterns, and we're going to go in to that very first stitch, working 1 single crochet, and then the next one is going to get 2 single crochets worked into it, so it's an increase. So we're going right back into that same stitch. So we got 1 and then 2 in the next, and we're repeating that. 1 stitch in the next single crochet, and 2 following that one. So we're repeating that all the way around. You should end up with 18 stitches. You'll slip stitch to join, we'll chain 1, and then we're ready for round 4. Round 4, we've got another repeating pattern. We're going to do a single crochet in the first 2 stitches, so just 1 and 1, and then that third stitch is going to be 2 single crochets. So we've got a little increase in that third one. So that again is a repeating situation. So we're going to go 1 single crochet in the next 2, going in, wrap, pull up, wrap, pull through 2, same thing on the next stitch, and then increasing on the one after that. So we're just going right back into that same spot, and you're going to keep going all the way around. When you get to the end, you should have 24 stitches. We'll slip stitch and chain 1, and for round 5 all we're going to do is a single crochet, 1 in each stitch. Before you get to the end, we are not going to slip stitch yet, so go ahead and finish this repeat single, 2, And then when you get to round 5, 1 single crochet in each stitch, so you'll still have 24 stitches, but we won't slip stitch on that last one because we are going to change color. Okay, we finished round 5. We are going to tie on our color change yarn for round 6. So I'm going to tie just a little double knot toward the inside of the toy so that we can keep our tails just kind of tucked inside. Any extra on that green, we're just going to snip it away because we don't need the green color again until we're almost done. So we're going to be working with our second color. Your gourd could be whatever crazy colors you want it to be. It doesn't have to be gourd colored. We can go into that first stitch of our round. We're going to pull up and pull up. So we're just slip stitch to join and chain 1. And then for round 6 and 7, again, we're just doing plain single crochet rounds for both of those. So there's nothing fancy about it. Each stitch gets its own single crochet. At the end, you should end up with 24 stitches. You'll slip stitch the end of each of those rounds. We will chain 1 before we start our next round, and then I will meet you back here for round 8. Okay, 6 and 7 are done. We're on to round 8. We're going to single crochet into the very first stitch, and then the next one is going to be a decrease. So we're working the next 2 stitches together. One way we can do that is by grabbing the front loops only of our next 2 stitches, wrap our yarn, pull through both of those, wrap, pull through those last 2, just like you're finishing a regular single crochet. So that will repeat again. We got 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then we're working those following 2 together, and we're going to keep going all the way until the end. We'll slip stitch to join, and then I'll meet you back here for round 9. Okay, round 8 is done. Round 9 is going to be another decrease round. This decrease pattern will be a little different. We're going to have a single crochet in the first 2 stitches, and then those next 2 stitches will work together, and we are repeating that all the way around. So by the time you get to the end of this round, you'll end up with just 12 stitches. So again, we're working a plain single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and then working the following 2 together. And we're repeating. When we get to the end, we'll slip stitch to join. We're going to chain 1, and then the next round is just a plain single crochet round. So you'll get 1 stitch in each stitch. Actually, that will be for rounds 10 and 11. So finish round 9. This is the single crochet, single crochet, single crochet 2 together, repeat. And then 10 and 11, just plain single crochets all the way around. Each one you'll end up with 12 stitches at the end, and we'll meet back here for round 12. Okay, we finished our 11th round. Before we go any farther, we're going to add a little bit of stuffing into the bottom before the bottom gets too hard to get into. So go ahead, and whatever kind of stuffing you're using, you're going to go ahead and fill up the bottom and fill it up to a little bit before where we're working now, so that way we don't end up having the stuffing get in our way for the next one. Okay, round 12, we've got another decrease here. It'll be very similar to one we've already done. The only difference is we'll end up with less stitches because we're starting with less. So we're going to go into the first stitch, work a single crochet, same thing on the next one, and the 2 after that we're going to work together. So however you like to decrease, I like to grab those 2 first front loops, but if you don't like that method, you don't have to use it. And we're repeating, so 2, and then working the next 2 together until you get to the end. You should have 9. Once you finished round 12, we slip stitch it together. We're going to chain 1, and then for the next 2 rounds after that, so 13 and 14, plain single crochet rounds. Each of these you'll end up with just 9 stitches at the end, and then I'll meet you back for the next little bunch. Okay, we're done through round 14. As we're going, it would be probably a good idea to keep adding that stuffing, so that way as things take turns and get smaller, you don't have to worry about finding ways to get the stuffing in there. And before we move on to round 15, I'm actually going to put the pattern up on the screen, so if you want to take a screenshot of it or you know, just look at it real quick because it could be a little confusing, but it's the exact same for the next 3 rounds. So 15, 16, and 17 will be the same. So I'll put it up on the screen and then we will go ahead and get started with that one. Okay, so this is where our gourd starts to turn before the stem. So we're going to single crochet 2 into the first stitch. So we got an increase stitch here and that very first one. And then we've got 1 plain single crochet all by itself in the following stitch. And then another increase. So we're going to go 2 into the next stitch. So we're going right back in there. And then 1 plain single crochet right in the next guy. And then we've got a decrease. So we're going to work 2 together. However you like to do that. And then the next one is plain. Just a regular old single crochet. And our last stitch, we'll be working those last 2 stitches together. And we're doing the exact same thing for the next 2 rounds. And you'll start to notice how it slopes as we work. And then I will meet you back here for round 18. All right, so keep going, same pattern. See you at round 18. Okay, we're done through round 17. Round 18 is just going to be a plain single crochet round. The only difference for this one is, once again, when we get to the end, we're not going to slip stitch yet because we are going to switch colors again. So go ahead and finish that plain round, 1 single crochet in each stitch. We should still have 9 stitches at the end, and I'll meet you back for our color change. Okay, we're ready for that color change. I've gone ahead and double knotted the next color on, tucked the tails into the inside of the toy. So now working with that stem color, whatever color you got, we're going to go into that first stitch and we're going to slip through that and that last one to join them. We'll chain 1. Our very first stitch will be just a single crochet, and then all the rest of them are going to be decreases until you get back to the beginning. So we're working 2 stitches together to create that single crochet, and we'll do that again and the next 2. Once we get to the end, we'll slip stitch to join, and then we've only got 2 more rounds to go. Okay, we've slip stitched, we've chained 1, we've got 2 more rounds. Each one's just going to be a plain single crochet. You should have 5 single crochet across the top. Sometimes it can get a little tricky here with those stitches so close together, but if you just kind of angle your hook up toward the top, you should be able to get through it. So go ahead and finish those next 2 plain single crochet rounds, ending with 5 single crochet in each. And once you do that last slip stitch, I'll meet you back and we'll finish it off. Okay, we've slip stitched. We do not need to chain 1. We are going to cut off a little bit of a tail here. We don't need it to be terribly long, but we are going to use it to weave the top close. So you need a little bit there. We're wrapping our yarn around the hook to pull through that last loop. We'll pull, and that's going to tie off the top. And then we just need a yarn needle. We're going to thread that yarn through your yarn needle and we'll weave the top closed. Getting a super bulky yarn through a yarn needle could be a little bit tricky, but if you just kind of twist it so it's as tight together as you can get it and then squish it so it's flat, usually you can get it right through there there we go, without losing any of the little pieces. I'm sure that there are thicker weight yarn needles out there, but I've never seen them, so I usually just sort of struggle through. So we're going in to the first stitch, out through the next with the yarn needle, and we're going to pull that tail through. We're going to do the same thing until we're all the way back at the beginning of this last open round here. And then once you get back to your beginning, we're going to pull, I know it's hard to tell with the black yarn, but that's going to close that opening up. And then anywhere you can, we're just going to shove the yarn needle back through. And we're going to make a simple knot. So we're just going through that loop to pull. And then take that yarn needle. We're going to drive it through the toy one more time. So anywhere really. anywhere where you feel like your knot will lay flat. And we're going to take the yarn needle all the way through, put a little bit of tension on it before you snip the tail off, and that's going to keep that tail hidden away on the inside of your toy so you don't have to do any weaving. And that is our gourd done. Okay, this guy's so much bigger than my normal finished toys. I had to back my camera up a little bit so I could show you that she is just about 8 inches tall, which is what we were shooting for. So this is normal little 3-inch version. This is the little 6-inch version we made, all using the exact same pattern, just different size yarn and different size hooks. So you could potentially continue on. You could do the biggest yarn you can find with the biggest hook you got and make a huge one. You could do little crochet thread and your smallest hook and make a little teeny tiny guy, all with just that one pattern. You can pretty much do that with any crochet pattern, not just mine. Basically any, even a sweater or something if you're making something to wear. If you find that it's too big or too small, you could always change your hook size. Anyway, that's it. I just wanted to show you all the ways you could make different size cords with the same pattern. Thank you guys. Bye.